couldn't hear you there. Hey, Leandro, nice to meet you. Can you kind of just take us through kind of what your reaction was when you found out that you were involved in the trade and that you were coming to the Utah Jazz?
Hey, what's up? So I was in the plane actually, flying from Venezuela to Panama with the national team. So when I arrived there, when I land, my agent called me and he said, and I get traded. But my reaction was good. Actually, I think it's a new opportunity. I gotta take advantage of that, and I'm really happy and excited to be here.
And Anderson, KSL Sports.
Leandro, what have the Jazz said they hope to see from you? I know they were excited to get you into summer camp pretty quickly with the summer league team. So what have they just told you about your role?
So yeah, I asked to play for a summer league because I want to get better. I want to get improved. I want to still winning my space in the team. So I'm taking the summer league to get ready for a season and for have some real for me.
Andrew, ABC4.
Hey, Leandro, for fans and people that aren't familiar with your game, can you describe some of your strengths and what you plan on bringing to the Jazz?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean I feel good. I know I can play both two positions or three. I feel like I'm all around player. I can shoot. I can bring energy. I can bring intensity. And I want to do what the team needs to win. I want to help the team to win. So I want to get my role and do it well.
Ryan Miller, KSL.
Hey, Leandro, nice to meet you. How would you describe yourself as a person, just off the court?
I'm a good person. Uh, I'm a quiet person, familiar person. I'm starting to read now. I like to read. I play video games. Uh, my day off, I like to go around and be see where I am. So that's it.
David Locke, do you have a question?
If you look back at your first year of the team, what was the biggest surprises to you about?
Can you repeat, please?
What was the biggest surprise to you this year? What was the biggest surprise your first year in the league?
Oh,
Dave, we have a hard time hearing you. Let's go ahead and go with Dana.
Hey, Leandro, what is Will Hardy talk to you about as far as what he thinks your role with the team is going to be? And are you familiar with any other Jazz players? Have they reached out to you? Have you played with them before, friends with them, or anything?
no, I'm knowing everybody right now. But I mean I know them by the names and we play again. But I'm knowing like a person right now. And I feel that it's like I said before, it's a great opportunity for me to develop my game and to start over. So
Hey, Jared, nice to meet you. So, can you kind of just tell us a little bit about yourself, what your game is like for people who haven't seen you, and what you can bring to this Jazz team?
I would just say just a very versatile guy. Being able to play multiple positions and um, being a multiple, being able to defend multiple positions, and just being very versatile on both ends of the floor. Playing hard and just changing the culture and just bringing that winning atmosphere and winning culture.
Ryan Miller, KSL.
Hey, Jared, how did you find out about the trade and what was kind of your initial reaction to it?
I was notified by the GM. I mean, Tim just called me and said, we're about to make this happen. And, within a couple seconds, I, kind of seen it come across the TV screen. So, yeah, that was pretty much it.
And then what was your reaction? Like, what was your reaction to being traded to Utah? How do you think you'll fit in here?
I think it's a great opportunity, to continue to grow and expand my game. I've heard nothing but great things about this organization. So, I'm excited to be here and, looking forward to see, where this goes, with a new staff, new coach and then new players. So, change is always, good.
Anderson, KSL.
Jared, you've played with Pat Bev and Malik now for a little bit. How would you describe their games to Jazz fans?
I would just say they both play hard. Pat, I would say he's one of our vocal leaders. Last year, just it's always good to have that vet presence, especially with a young team that we had. So he brings a lot to the team that doesn't show up in stats book. He's a great competitor, great teammate, great leader, and he's going to hold you accountable and just push you to be the best player you can be. And then as for Bees, he's a hard worker. Great teammate as well. And, I've been with Bees my whole career. So, me and him are pretty close. And, both of them just great guys and great competitors. And they're all about winning and all about the success of the team.
Danny Green, ABC4.
Hey, Jared, change can always be, difficult at times, but to come over with these other guys that you are familiar with, how do you think that's going to ease the transition to Utah?
It always eases the transition, when you're traded with some other familiar faces. So, the bond that I've created with them, just somebody that that'll keep you, hold you accountable. Somebody that I've already been to battle with. So, makes it a lot easier as well. But, like I said, it's always good to have, a couple teammates to come with you. So, we all looking forward to this journey and, this next chapter for us.
And then what's your relationship with Will Hardy? Did you know him before? And what have your conversations been like with him as far as what he expects out of you?
No, I did not know him before. I spoke to him briefly, but it was just kind of just general, just, getting to know each other. We didn't really speak too much as far as the basketball side, just kind of getting to know each other, just as a person and, some background info and stuff like that. So it was a, real chill conversation. So we haven't really gotten to that as much.
Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune.
Yeah, hey, just kind of wondering, obviously you're 23 years old, kind of early in your career. What are you working on this offseason to try to improve?
Just a little bit of everything. Obviously, finishing around the rim, touch, working on my shooting, trying to expand my range, working on ball handling and, counter moves. It's a little bit of everything, like I said, I'm still young in my career where I have a lot of opportunity to still grow and expand my game as well. So obviously still sticking to the foundation that what got me here, but just continue to build off of that. And yeah.
Do you have like a specific trainer you're working with or workout partners or anything like that you can tell us about?
Just kind of some of my trainers that's from back home that I've been working with. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
David Locke, Jazz Radio.
Jared, if we go back to kind of the Denver years, such high hopes for you and so many injuries, what allowed you to get through that? Like, how did you persevere through those disappointing early years?
Really just the supporting cast I had around me. My family, coaching staff, everybody in my circle just allowed me, just kept pushing me to keep going. Everybody goes through some adversity, some problems and stuff. So it's just how you bounce back from it. So I just kind of stuck with it. And, thanks to Denver for allowing me to, get healthy and get right and, giving me the opportunity to, get back 100% healthy. So, and like I said, it's an up and down league. And, one thing about this league, at some point, everybody's going to get the opportunity at some point, whether it's, late in the game or, a blowout game or anything, you're going to get that opportunity. So it's just how you, take advantage of that. And, when my name and number got called, I just took full advantage of it. And, yeah.
Talking to guys over the years, they say, hey, it's one thing to get in the league, but there's another moment you belong and you're a part of it. Have you had that moment, and when was it?
I would say this past year, I finally kind of established myself in the league and, kind of made a name for myself and just, as far as my value and stuff. And, obviously the first 3 years was a little rocky just with injury and, in and out of the rotations and stuff like that. So I felt this past year kind of really just kind of put my, footprint on, my career and, establish myself and kind of, lay the foundation for me, to keep building and growing from.
Sam Farnsworth, KSL.
Yeah, Jared, I'm just curious to know if any of the Jazz players have reached out to you since the trade, have welcomed you in, or if you've had any contact with any of them at all to this point.
I've seen a couple of them that are here in Vegas. We've had a couple of little team dinners, and so I've seen a couple of the ones that's just out here right now.
Ryan Miller.
Yeah, we were talking to Malik a little earlier, and he said he wanted to kind of reintroduce himself and rebrand himself. How have you seen his growth over the last year?
It's been amazing. Like I said, I've been with Bees for 4 years now, so just seeing his maturity level, from when I first met him to now, on and off the court, I just feel like he's developing, he's developed every year that I've seen him. So I'm excited to see, where he takes his game to this year. But, he's always been a very, consistent with his work ethic. He's one of the first in the gym every morning. He works hard. And, he's one of those guys that self-evaluates himself. He knows when he's, not playing well or what he needs to adjust on. And, he comes back the next day and works on it and, he figures it out. So, like I said, I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him. We've, been on this journey together. It's our third team together. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to it.
There he is. All right, Walker. We'll start with Eric Walden, Salt Lake Tribune.
Hey, Walker. So can you tell us, first of all, how you found out that you were coming to the Jazz, kind of what your initial reaction was, and what kind of conversations you've had with them thus far?
So, yeah, as y'all know, been in the league for 2 weeks now. I've been traded twice. So it's been a little crazy, but, the Minnesota staff and Tim and everyone down there or up there were super respectful about it, super professional. Hey, you're traded, we traded you for Gobert and a couple other people. And, you're going to the Jazz. And, I'm super excited to be here. And I've actually been to Salt Lake a couple times, growing up, going skiing and stuff in Park City. So it's a beautiful city. And I'm so excited to be part of, a new chapter of Jazz basketball and just looking forward to it.
Andy Larson.
Do you have any communication with the Jazz pre-draft at all?
I did not, at least not personally. I think my agent talked to them, but not personally, no.
And then I'll guess kind of same question, but post-draft, now that you have been traded, have you had the chance to talk to Will Hardy and some of the rest of the Jazz organization?
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of them. They've all been super respectful and, super excited and have all reached out and said how excited they are for this year.
Walker, being a shot blocker like you are, have you kind of grown up watching Rudy Gobert? The guy you were traded for, to see a guy that you kind of trying to emulate, being a rim protector like he was.
Definitely growing up, Rudy Gobert is one of the greatest shot blockers to ever play the game. So watching him and how he attacks the ball and his timing, and how it's not just about his size and length, but how it's a lot of mental components to his shot blocking ability. So, definitely been watching him, and excited to be in a place to where I could emulate that potentially.
We'll go to Sam Farnsworth, KSL Sports.
Walker, I'm just curious to know, and I know you touched on it a little bit at the beginning there, but just some of the emotion, was it a kind of a roller coaster finding out about the trade? I saw your Instagram post with the pictures in your Minnesota locker and everything, and I'm sure it was one of the last things you expected.
It definitely caught me off guard, but like I said before, the Minnesota team and staff and everyone there were super, respectful about it. Told me in person, which I, respected, and the NBA is a business. I'm glad that, because in college it's not really like that, to where you obviously get traded and stuff like that. So going through that, while it was a little bit of a whirlwind and kind of just like, what team am I playing for? Knowing what I know now, it's going to help me moving forward, and just really excited for this year and for the team I'm on currently.
We'll go back to Eric Walden.
Hey, Walker. So we saw, an announcement from the team yesterday that you'd suffered a minor toe injury during the pre-draft process, but that you've been kind of cleared to start returning to basketball activities. How did the injury happen, and kind of where do you feel you are physically right now?
I feel great. Super excited. The injury just happened in the pre-draft process, and excited to get cleared and get back into playing.
And can you tell us a little bit about what you're like off the court? What Walker Kessler likes to do when he's not playing basketball?
I'm a pretty interesting guy. I grew up reading a bunch of books like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Aragon, all that stuff. I was a big nerd. I was homeschooled for 1 year, so that's all I did for that year, basically. I've been playing guitar for like 5 years now. So I enjoy that a lot. I enjoy music a lot. My dad and brother, introduced me to a bunch of like classic rock bands like Leonard Skinner, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, bands like that. So growing up and playing guitar with that, I've grown up going to the lake my whole life with my family. So I've always, enjoyed just being on the lake, being in the water. And then I'll beat anybody in table tennis if any of y'all ever want to, hit me up and play a couple matches. But those are just some things I like to do.
David Locke, Jazz Radio.
Well, I've read your bio correctly, Walker. You're from quite a basketball family. I think your dad played at Georgia, your uncle. How much, is basketball part of the life around there? And there's always the story that 7-footers play because they're tall. Is your story a little different because you're from a basketball family?
So my dad, uncle, and older brother all played basketball at Georgia. And, growing up in a basketball family, you're introduced to it at a pretty young age, but it wasn't ever, I never felt pressured into it or forced into it. I loved it because that's what they did and I wanted to be like them. And then I found my own love for basketball, as I grew up in it and started playing more.
And what was the story about moving from North Carolina to Auburn?
So, I've spoken on to this a little bit in previous stuff, but Carolina was an unbelievable program in school, but no one could see COVID happening, and so North Carolina was shut down. Classes were shut down, campus was shut down. We got put into a hotel, and Auburn's only an hour away from me, so I didn't know what the next year was going to look like. So I just knew that if all else shut down, I knew that I could at least have my family.
Andy Larson.
Yeah, Walker, how do you anticipate the next couple months of your kind of summer going in terms of workouts? What do you want to improve on? Where are you going to work out with who? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm just gonna obviously this little minor deal set me back a little bit, but super excited and just getting back to where I was and getting back to working out. And then as far as where I'm working out or who I'm working out with, I think that the best deal is obviously working out with the team, obviously working out, with the Jazz staff. I haven't known them very long, but from what I've known and what I can tell, they're an unbelievable staff and, super educated and super intelligent. And so, I trust them. So that's whatever they think's best is what I'm going to do.
Well, David Green with a follow-up.
Walker, this roster is obviously in a state of transition, unsettled, but what kind of opportunity do you think lays before you? There's not a lot of centers on the team right now. There's some chance of some playing time. Where do you see your opportunities with this team?
I think that whatever the team feels best is what I'm going to do as far as my opportunities and presenting itself. For starters, I've got to be ready for whatever opportunity presents itself. So that's the first thing that I have to do personally is really just to get in the gym, show the coaching staff, show the whole staff that I'm willing to work. I'm willing to work for my opportunities, and that I'll be ready for those opportunities and to capitalize.
David Locke, you have a follow-up?
Obviously, in any paragraph that's ever written about you. It includes the highest block rate ever in NCAA history. What do you think your innate skill there is?
I think obviously height and length has a lot to do with it, but as I spoke earlier about Rudy Gobert and how his timing is and how he, attacks the ball in a strategic way and it's very analytical. I think that watching film, understanding what that guard's going to do, understanding what that person's going to do, understanding when to jump, when to be vertical, where to attack the ball. I think that I approach the defensive side of the game a lot differently than a lot of other players do. It's not just about blocking shots. It's about how you block those shots and how to stay out of foul trouble, when to attack, and when to just be in the way.
And where did you develop that?
So I think that for me, last year, my role on the Auburn basketball team, we had a lot of offensive threats, and I understood that above all else, I just want to win a game. That's the last thing I want to do. And so I stepped back and analyzed how can I affect this game in winning. And obviously you want to put the ball in the hoop more than the other team, but you also want to prevent the team from putting the ball in the hoop. So Coach Steve, as an assistant coach at Auburn, Coach Steve and I really just harked on being the best defender I could be, and not just defending my man, but preventing a whole team from doing what they want to do.